They were able to give me, I think, an email address finally where I can send these emails like about 7 p.m. It's quite a long
So
time.
that's a frustration.
Yeah, with
you
us
want
because-
to help, but you
Yes,
can't.
yes.
We were on
Sunday.
FM.
Oh.
Many people who called gave specific addresses. So I would read out the specific address and say, if this is a block away from you, if you know where this is, if you have a boat and you can actually go there, please do. And we were able to hear from people a few days after that they were the ones who responded to the addresses. I still remember some of them, Dahlia Street, etc. And I still remember all these addresses. So we said, kung malapit kayo dito nakatira, tapos okay naman yung lagay ninyo, punta naman kayo dito sa address na to. So it became that. You know?
Tina, let me do a very quick demonstration here because we have our handy-dandy computer up here. And no, because just to illustrate to our viewers,
Yes.
the questions you were raising, because the first problem we identified was everyone was looking for information, they didn't know where to go because government was trying to figure out how to cope with the emergency. The second problem was people were shouting for help, but once you shouted, it would be gone with the wind. And then so people decided you had to write it down. Then people had to figure out the problem you pointed out, which is how do we tell meron bang nangyayari, may na-actionan ba? Now, in the case of Bayanihan Online, the first thing was to catalog everything and to sort it. I don't know if you can see it
Yeah, we can
online.
see
It's
it
here. Okay. So basically, it's just cataloging. They were the secretaries. Then very quickly, within hours, you had people like, for example, the Ateneo Task Force on DOI immediately came out with a system to list the people who needed help by location, by the kind of trouble they were in, and what happened to them. And on the screen, you see the ones who were saved. The statistics are very interesting. There were 172 reported cases just for this volunteer thing that was put up by the Ateneo. 172 cases were reported. 82 were found because of this, and 90 were still missing at the end of the emergency. You had another system that was put up by volunteers from not only from the Philippines, Manila, but all over the world, which was to harness Google online. So there were, again, how do you report you're in trouble? You would go there and say, I'm in this street, ito yung problema namin, walang kuryente, mataas yung tubig. You could immediately classify, this is what governors have said, they would call triaging the problems, right? So you know what to attend to. And then the other things were where to call, what to send, who to send to, and then the numbers that were coming up. And in the end, I remember Secretary Teodoro assigned some poor guy to man his Twitter account, pretending to be Gilbert Teodoro, and I'd be like, "Huy, hanapin mo nga yung ano doon," and be like, "Oh yes, I'll look for it." Diba? But in the end, we were dealing with the other networks. So for the first time, walang rivalry for just a few hours. And this was a system that was happening. But nakatulong ba ito sa inyo,
Yes.
Captain? I mean, alam ba ninyo na everyone was trying to back you guys up, or you were so focused on what was happening?
Yes sir, ano din sa amin. Pero yung time namin nun sa Sikan ID, more kami dun sa Tanay dahil yun talaga yung first na malakas ma'am na ano. Yung baha talaga dun yung bagsak sa amin dahil kung mapapansin nyo yan, halos malapit sa ilog. Kaya yung halos yung tropa namin dun, nakapokus kami lahat sa rescue ng araw na yun. Kaya ang dami namin na ibaba na tropa, nakatulong kami kagad dun sa mga nababahaan kagad. Then na-establish natin kaagad sir yung saan yung mga evacuation area na pwede maanuan kaagad.
Doon sa mga panahon na yon, yung local government, yung Rizal, no? Rizal, Tanay is under Rizal.
Yes ma'am.
Yung Tanay may mayor sila. Meron bang nagawa yung munisipyo ba ito o city?
Municipal.
Munisipyo. Ano ang kanilang, kumbaga, ay naging response? Bago kayo dumating, wala rin silang kakayanan na gawin yung ginawa ninyo?
Nang pagdating namin ma'am sa area, wala kaming nakita pa na mga municipal officers dahil yun nga sa amin yung isip namin noon kagad is to rescue kagad yung needs kagad ng tao doon doon kami nag-focus kaya yung iba naming yung municipal officers hindi namin nakita doon dahil
baka biktima rin sila, no?
At sa the same time halos victim din sila dahil halos buong Tanay ma'am nalubog talaga yun. Kaya naintindihan mo namin.
Yeah, just to add something, at the NDCC, we got a lot of calls
there were simply so many calls.
You should
But
have
as I was
all
saying,
calls.
there were so many calls, and you were talking of frustrations. The greatest frustration is that many of the calls were about families trapped on roofs in Provident, Riverside, Tumana, Santa Barbara, all over. And we just had to make sure that the rubber boats would be there. Our soldiers were already in front of the Provident early in the afternoon. But the rubber boats were still trapped because they came from the Navy, from the Marines, etc. And we were able to get feedback from the families. Our soldiers started to rescue from the roofs about 2 o'clock in the evening. But there were so many, But we got feedback. And one thing that some of the people at the NDCC Center were doing, I recall, was some of the callers would leave a cell phone number, and they would give a feedback, because it is very reassuring when they know they get a feedback that hey, we our soldiers are already there, the rubber boats are on the way, we know that you are there, etc. So in other words, they get a feedback. And also some of the parents that could not who were isolated because they were at EDSA, and their families were trapped on the roof, we were able to communicate with them.
Okay, I have one question. Does not the military or the DND have an emergency broadcast AM radio that is automatically put on when disasters of this magnitude come around? There's an emergency broadcast frequency. Is that still operational?
Yeah, they have a DWDD, which is hooked up with the Radyo ng Bayan.
So it was one and the same,
But
and at this point it was not functioning
No,
the way
it
you
was,
should
but,
make it function under a disaster.
It was, but in situations like that, the people know Jotaruk, DCRH, they know DCMN, they know. They won't bet on the DWDD.
Yes, but
And then-
Alvin,
yeah, yeah.
Alvin is monitoring the government channel at the same time anyway. So
No, but it could, even if it has limited reach in terms of signal strength, and it's not as far as Pampanga, if it can be a basis for the others who are actually going to also depend, so you can reach us without us having to call you. You can just say, every hour on the hour you have an update, and this is what you're doing. That was not thought about, or did you actually use it, the emergency broadcast frequency?
Yeah, we relied on the PNP and the armed forces, because immediately there have been many emergencies in the past, and immediately these two institutions they get hooked up with the media. And I recall that on the same day, the PNP was able to put somebody with the DCMM.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
An officer.
okay, gang, very quickly. This is the last set of questions. Sarah, Manolo, you want to ask them something? What was it to you that made it worthwhile? I mean, you feel you contributed significantly so that lives would be saved and misery would be minimized?
I think
Nakatulong ka ba? Did you feel
I'm not
in your
sure.
own little...
I think
How many
a few
hours?
weeks after, I still get thank yous. There's a
okay.
gentleman who actually approached me at a screening in Fully Booked and introduced himself to me, and he said, I listened to you the entire night.
And what was the most useful thing that you did for him, according to this gentleman? or
Just
this-
that they were hearing someone all night.
okay.
And because
Is
they
this
were on the
voice?
roof. Yeah.
Okay.
Just that someone was listening. But more than anything, I think it was an honor to be able to give information at a crucial
Okay.
time from other people like them and people online.
How about you? What was the value of what you did?
In the aftermath of Ondoy and Pepeng, we were focused on collating information about volunteer work and where to bring relief goods. And then there was a comment to us saying, thank you because I go to your site to know where to volunteer. So you actually help us. And then people were emailing us, please put this up your site, because they know that we have a wide readership
And Alvin?
Miss Ina, dati, hindi pwedeng hindi ka nakikinig sa radyo pag disaster. Ngayon nadagdagan na siya. So they have several avenues already. They have the internet, Twitter. So hindi pwede na official ng gobyerno hindi alam mag-Twitter or mag-internet or mag-Messenger Yahoo kasi in this time and age, importante na siya. Dati radyo lang, kami lang. So DZMM is still